Curbside Crafts, Once Upon a Time. Hi friends, it's Miss Kelly. I'm so glad that you're here this week. For our Curbside Craft this week, we're doing Once Upon a Time. I love fairy tales. I love them so much that I wished for my own dragon and got one. Her name is Desdemona. When she heard I was going to be reading about dragons today, she asked if she could come with me to work, so I said okay. Let's hope she behaves. Our first story today is There Was an Old Dragon Who Swallowed a Knight. What's that? That story's about your uncle? Okay, well, let's find out what Desdemona's uncle does in our story. There Was an Old Dragon Who Swallowed a Knight by Penny Klosterman. There was an old dragon who swallowed a knight. I don't know why he swallowed the knight. It's not polite. There was an old dragon who swallowed a steed that galloped around at a terrible speed. Oh, how the dragon wished it would stop. That clippity, 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 clop. He swallowed the steed right after the knight. I don't know why he swallowed the knight. It's not polite. There was an old dragon who swallowed a squire, who hollered, "That's hot!" when the dragon breathed fire. He swallowed the squire to calm the steed that galloped around at a terrible speed. He swallowed the steed right after the knight. I don't know why he swallowed the knight. It's not polite. Clippity, 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 clop. There was an old dragon who swallowed a cook, a savory cook, and his recipe book. He swallowed the cook to fatten the squire. He swallowed the squire to calm the steed, who galloped around at a terrible speed. Clippity, 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 clop. He swallowed the steed right after the knight. I don't know why he swallowed the knight. It's not polite. There was an old dragon who swallowed a lady. It seems quite shady. He'd swallow a lady. He swallowed the lady to rule the cook. He swallowed the cook to fatten the squire. He swallowed the squire to calm the steed that galloped around at a terrible speed. Clippity, 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 clop. He swallowed the steed right after the knight. I don't know why he swallowed the knight. It's not polite. There was an old dragon who swallowed a castle, swallowed it down to the last golden tassel. He swallowed the castle to hold the lady. He swallowed the lady to rule the cook. He swallowed the cook to fatten the squire. He swallowed the squire to calm the steed that galloped around at a terrible speed. Clippity, 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 clop. He swallowed the steed right after the knight. I don't know why he swallowed the knight. It's not polite. There was an old dragon who swallowed a moat, guzzled and gulped it right down his throat. With all of that water, he started to bloat, and that's when the dragon roared. And I quote, "Okay, enough. I've had enough, more than enough of this swallowing stuff. Maybe I've been a tad impolite. Perchance I should have only swallowed the knight." Then, with all the power that he could amass, the dragon burped out one last billow of gas. And with terrible speed, he burped out the steed. Clippity, 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 clop. Clippity, 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 stop. There was an old dragon who swallowed a knight. Ah, just right. Good night. Wow, that was a really good story, except Desi, your uncle made some really bad choices. I hope you learned some lessons from that. Okay, because what he did, not okay. It's not polite. Our second story today is The Frog Prince Continued. It's what happened after Happily Ever After. The Frog Prince Continued. by John Sheska. The princess kissed the frog, he turned into a prince, and they lived happily ever after. Well, let's just say they lived sort of happily for a long time. Okay, they weren't so happy. In fact, they were miserable. "Stop sticking your tongue out like that," nagged the princess. "How come you never want to go down to the pond anymore?" whined the prince. The prince and the princess were so unhappy, they didn't know what to do. "I would prefer that you not hop around on the furniture," said the princess, "and it might be nice for you to get out of the castle once in a while to slay a dragon or a giant or whatever." But the prince didn't feel like going out and slaying anything. He just felt like running away. But then he reread his book, and it said right there, at the end of his story, they lived happily ever after, the end. So he stayed in the castle and drove the princess crazy. Then, one day, the princess threw a perfectly awful fit. "First, you keep me awake all night with your horrible croaking snore. Now I find a lily pad in your pocket. I can't believe I actually kissed your slimy frog lips. Sometimes I think we would both be better off if you were still a frog." That's when the idea hit him. The prince thought, "Still a frog. Yes, that's it." And he ran off into the forest looking for a witch who could turn him back into a frog. The prince hadn't gone far when he ran into just the person he was looking for. Miss Witch, excuse me, Miss Witch. I was wondering if you could help me." "Say, you're not looking for a princess to kiss, are you?" asked the witch. "Oh no, I've already been kissed. I'm the frog prince. Actually, I was hoping you could turn me back into a frog." "Are you sure you're not looking for a beautiful sleeping princess to kiss and wake up?" No, I'm the frog prince." "That's funny, you don't look like a frog." "Well, no matter. If you're a prince, you're a prince. And I'll have to cast a nasty spell on you. I can't have any princes waking up Sleeping Beauty before the 100 years are up." The prince didn't stick around to see which nasty spell the witch had in mind. He ran deeper into the forest until he came upon a tiny cottage where he saw another lady who just might help him. Miss Witch, excuse me, Miss Witch. I was wondering if you could help me. I'm a prince and..." "Eh? What did you say? Prince?" croaked the witch. No. I'm not the prince looking for Sleeping Beauty, but yes, I'm the frog prince. And I'm looking for a member of your profession who could turn me back into a frog so I can live happily ever after." "Frog prince, you say? That's funny. I thought frogs were little green guys with webbed feet. Well, no matter. If you're a prince, you're a prince. And I can't have any princes rescuing Snow White. Here, eat the rest of this apple." The prince, who knew his fairy tales and knew a poison apple when he saw one, didn't even stay to say, "No, thank you." He turned and ran deeper into the forest. Soon he came to a strange-looking house with a witch outside. Miss Witch, excuse me, Miss Witch. I was wondering if you could help me. I'm the frog." "If you're a frog, I'm the King of France," said the witch. "No, I'm not a frog. I'm the frog prince, but I need a witch to turn me back into a frog so I can live happily ever after. Can you do it?" said the prince in one long breath. The witch eyed the prince and licked her rather plump lips. "Why, of course, dearie. Come right in. Maybe I can fit you in for lunch." The prince stopped on the slightly gummy steps. Something about this house seemed familiar. He broke off a corner of the windowsill and tasted it. Gingerbread. "I hope you don't mind asking, Miss Witch, but do you happen to know any children by the names of Hansel and Gretel?" "Why, yes, dear, I do. I'm expecting them for dinner." The prince, who, as we said before, knew his fairy tales, ran as fast as he could deeper into the forest. Soon he was completely lost.
He saw someone standing next to a tree. The prince walked up to her, hoping she wasn't a witch, for he'd quite had his fill of witches.
Madam, I'm the Frog Prince. Could you help me?
Gosh, do you need it? Said the fairy godmother. You're the worst-looking frog I've ever seen.
I'm not a frog. I'm the Frog Prince, said the prince, getting a little annoyed. And I need someone to turn me back into a frog so I can live happily ever after.
Well, I'm on my way to see a girl in the village about going to a ball, but I suppose I could give it a try. I've never done frogs before, you know. And with that, the fairy godmother waved her wand and turned the prince into a beautiful carriage. The prince couldn't believe his rotten luck. The sun went down, the forest got spookier, and the prince became more and more frightened.
Oh, what an idiot I've been. I could be sitting at home with the princess, living happily ever after. But instead, I'm stuck here in the middle of the stupid forest, turned into a stupid carriage. Now I'll probably just rot and fall apart and live unhappily ever after.
The prince thought these terrible, frightening kinds of thoughts, and a few worse, too awful to tell, until far away in the village, the clock struck midnight. The carriage instantly turned back into his former prince self and ran by the light of the moon until he was safe inside his own castle. Where have you been? I've been worried sick. You're 7 hours late. Your dinner is cold. Your clothes are a mess. The prince looked at the princess, who had believed him when no one else in the world had. The princess who had actually kissed his slimy frog lips. The princess who loved him. The prince kissed the princess. They both turned into frogs, and they hopped off happily ever after.
Ribbit.
The end.
Ribbit.
I love a happy ending, don't you? I'm so glad that they hopped off into the sunset together. Now, let's talk about our crafts. This week, you're getting 3 crafts in your bag. This one is a castle piggy bank, which you can paint, and we'll give you the paints. You also get a crown, which you can decorate with stickers. And last but not least is a sticker scene. So let's go do those crafts. Wait a minute. Has anyone seen Desi? Where did my dragon go? Today I've decided I would like to paint my castle pink and purple. But Miss Kelly, you only have red, blue, and white on your paper. How are you going to do that? I'm so glad you asked. To make purple, we're going to mix some red, some blue, and I want a lighter purple, so we're also going to incorporate some white into that. So let's mix this together and see what color we get. Oh, I'm starting to see a little bit of purple here. Let's see. Do you see how it's mixing all the colors together? And it's making a purple color. Awesome, my castle is going to look magnificent. But I also wanted to do pink. So then I'm going to take some white and some red and mix them together. And, whoa, I'm getting a very cool pink color. I'm going to be soon painting my castle and it's going to look fantastic.
First, I painted the sides, pink and purple. Then I did the door. I wanted that to be blue. And here it is when I'm finished with it. I think it looks great. I'm really proud of myself. Now you can work on your foam crown. You have stickers and you can use it to decorate it any way you want. I did alternating patterns. Do you like it? Our last project is a sticker scene. Here's mine. First, I added 2 princesses. Then I decided they needed some flowers. Next comes a unicorn, of course a dragon, and the frog prince. Next I decided let's put in a tree. And here's my finished product. I'm going to hang this up on my fridge at home. And don't worry, I found Desdemona. After we talked about not flying in the library, she used the computer, picked out some books, then she went to the front desk and checked them out to take home. She had a really good time at the library. Hope to see you soon, boys and girls.